Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. I wanted to talk to you about the narcissist and how they come in to get you hooked. So let's jump in. The narcissist, they like to come into a relationship and get you hooked. After you've done several cycles with a narcissist, how many cycles are you going to do? If you've done several cycles, there's nothing that you're going to get better than what you've received already, and chances are it has not been good so far. These are cycles, y'all, and a narcissist will never stop cycling. They are in a circle, just like a bicycle wheel, They are just going to go in a circle. The same things they do in their personal relationships are going to continue to happen. They're just going to change relationships. They're just going to change the people that they're cycling with, but the cycles will stay the same. And they will do anything to get that supply and stoop to any level if they have to. So what is your end game? Because if you know it's not going to work and you know it's not right for you, it's just going to make things worse the longer you stay in it. A lot of times it's best to just bite the bullet and end it as soon as you can, because then you'll have more invested in it and you'll have more damage done to you before the healing takes place. What is your vision? If the narcissist can't control people around them, they don't feel in control of themselves, y'all. They're forced to respect what they cannot have. And that's the only reason why I touch on respect in regards to the narcissist, because we don't really have a whole lot of respect for them because they have no order to their life and all they do is care about themselves. They're selfish and greedy. I believe part of your winning or part of your healing that should take place is you get to a place to where you refuse the narcissist and you are good enough to them that they are forced to respect you, because they're forced to respect what they cannot have and what they cannot penetrate through. And you continue to do what you do and they mean nothing to you. They're forced to respect that. They're forced to respect boundaries when they're real boundaries. And they're not just spoken words, but they're things that are put into action. The narcissist does not listen to words. They look at actions. And unfortunately for us, when we started out this cycling with the narcissist, we wanted to believe their words and we neglected to look at their actions. We did eventually, but you should always look at the actions first, because words are cheap, y'all. People don't care about being truthful and trustworthy and loyal. They want to control your feelings and they want to control you, but they want to control everything about you. So your feelings, your progress, your success, your money, how you look, because they are trying to sabotage everything in your life, your emotions, your current and your future visions and plans, and your day-to-day activities. Of course, they want to isolate you. So when they can't break you down, they feel weak. And that's a big reason why they break you down. They come in all reserved in victimhood mentality with the look and action as being humble, meek, and not trying to hurt somebody, but find true love and continue on with that individual. That's what you think. When they come in, those first impressions are a big deal. They come in looking very well. That's really the idea that you have of them. And they show you what they could be like if they wanted to. Of course, it's fake. What they really do is they tell you and show you what you want in an individual, in a love partner, or in a relationship. So they mirror that back to you. They mirror your energy back to you to get on the same plane, the same level as you, because they're down below. So they need to find out where you are and vibrate with you. When they start to vibrate with you, this is where that mind control takes place, and they're able to then get you to trust them and love them, and then let them in. You take all your boundaries down. You let them in your aura, in your space. Then once you do that, they're able to tap into your emotions and be able to take over your emotions and then your mind and then your will, and continue to create confusion and gaslighting and break you down and chip away at your self-esteem, chip away at your self-worth while you're trying to love them. So you continue to break your life down to give to them because you think whatever is starting to happen with confusion and disarray in the relationship, love will fix it. That love will make it better. They want to break you down. They want to control you. Of course, when they can't control you, this makes them feel weak. And when you have success, for instance, if you leave them and go no contact, they feel like you owe them. They feel like you did it off their back. They were the whole reason why you had success, that you owe them something. This is their grandiose thinking as part of this cycling that they do that gets them in all this trouble. The narcissist does not learn. They're not self-aware of what they're doing. They're always seeking pleasure and validation, knowing already that in their grandiose self that they're amazing. They don't question that unless there's something that shames them, something that causes an injury. And that's why a lot of times they will rage, because they're in a fantasy, believing they are this supreme being. And until it's questioned to a place that hits them where it hurts, then they don't think about things. They're on this pedestal in their grandiose self, and it's a cycle. It's always cycling with each individual partner they're with. They deserve to punish other people. They feel like it's okay because in their mind, you're just an object for their use. And if they continue to hurt you, they can control you. When they're hurting you, that's the major form of control if you love them and if you're trying to confide in them and if you care for them. And if you have created some sort of bond with them, trauma bond. For them, when they continue to control you, it gives them validation. When you're in the sunken place and they can keep you down, that validates them. And it gives them the power and control that they need for a relationship to progress. It doesn't progress anywhere. It's in stasis. And for a long time, depending on who you are, and then it will just end in a destructive manner. But they live a cycle of victimhood. They can't find a happy way of living because of the cycling that they do. They're in a deceptive, defeated form of living, pathway of living that just continues to circle around about the same answers, the same questions, and the same resolutions. And none of them are good for the narcissist, but they're also completely destructive to everybody else around them, and they don't care because they don't feel empathy. In their mind and the way that they work is they have to do better than everybody connected to them, either old supply or current supply. And when it comes to future supply, they want to advance, they want to level up or, increase their quality of supply. So if they do look for people that are above them, and then they have people like them and below them, typically that's what they get. But if they can hook somebody that is above them, like a future primary source supply, then they will put everything into that because this is what they really want. This is what they really look for. This is what's important to them, not you, but the supply and the abilities that you have, and maybe your reach, your connections, your traits, your money, your love, your care. So they have to do better than everybody connected to them, even their flying monkeys. That's how they have power and control and feel like they're getting good supply. And that's the key to all of this. It's to get supply, to control and have power over them, to be above all of them. And that makes them feel this superiority, this confidence that they're doing right and that they're a success. So it's a never-ending cycle of control, and people that are above them, for instance, if they get a primary source supply that is elevated far above them, they will start to sabotage at some point. They start to sabotage you and everybody connected to them that's having any kind of success that's above them, they have to sabotage because they have to bring you down so that they can feel successful. And they also do this for sadistic means, ways to get adrenaline and get off on it. Because they don't really feel empathy, they don't really feel anything good. And so they're kind of, the cycle that they're running is also something that's negative driven, to where we like to live in a positive world where there's goodness and love and kindness, and we want to have fun and happiness and joy and success. And if somebody has more success than us or makes more money than us, our love partner, it's great. It's just better for everybody, for both of us if we're in a relationship, because we're a team. But they don't look at that. They're not ever on a team with anybody. The only team they have is that mask, and it's their God. It's a never-ending cycle of control and to sabotage everybody connected to them that's successful. Even if they think you're going to elevate to some form of success, they're going to sabotage. Every advice that they give you is going to be almost the opposite of what you should do. Supply sources cannot succeed above the narcissist. This is what defines what a narcissist is to some degree. When you have success, it threatens their success because it's a competition. You see everything with them as a competition. So how could you be successful and they're trying to have success? The same success is kind of the way they look at it. You're not running the race together. You're running the race against each other. The narcissist likes you because you supplied some sort of success to them. Supply is to some degree success, right? So it's either success or it supplies a need for a lustful need. So I would consider success would be connections, your traits, your love, your care, your support, your protection, all the stuff that maybe a normal emotional relationship, loving kind relationship would have, right? They want those things. They just don't know how to treat them, and they don't care about boundaries and having any kind of personal ethics about the situation. And then they have their lusts. They want to have sex. They want your money. They want your things, your cars, your houses. They want your traits. They want your emotional support. They want to get your sadness, your grief, everything. They sell themselves, like somebody on the street would for sex. That's what they are, a street. They will sell themselves pretty much for anything, for these things. And depending on what it is worth to them, they don't care. That's why they'll have sex with anybody. If they want something from you, or if they want to control you, they'll do it. They don't come to people if they don't have something to offer that they want, or if something's special. A lot of times the primary source supply has a lot to give and a lot that they want. A lot of times they want to be you. That's why they break you down the hardest. That's why they don't ever want to leave you, and they make you the primary source. The thing is, the primary source gets beat down the worst and gets treated the worst, gets destroyed the hardest. But they do that all in an act to keep that power and control over you so that you'll never leave. There's different things that they do, and that's kind of the reasoning. They want to have fun, sex, meals, love, admiration, importance, spending money, shopping, travel, pampering them, attention, validation, comfort, adrenaline, sabotaging you, hurting you. These are all forms of supply. They need that attention. After they solidify themselves in your life, they leave when things get boring for them, or after the fuel runs out that you have to give. When you start to question them, take them and bring them into reality, or question the things that they're doing, and you start to catch on to them, these are all reasons, or a new supply source pops up and they want to see them. Meanwhile, they're always having flings behind your back. They need to do all of these things because it's part of their cycling. They leave when things get boring. And after they have gotten you to a position of control and they get you hooked, they get you sprung, they want to ignore you. They want you to wait. They want you to be concerned about them, asking, is anything wrong? Is everything okay? They want you to tell them that you love them, you miss them, and then they start to triangulate you with other sources, and they have been. So they continue to triangulate you with other sources of supply, other people. They could be flying monkeys, they could be friends, they could be just people that they know, and they're making it all up just to get this energy from you, this jealousy. They create jealousy in you, and you're not even a jealous individual. But when they come to you, they put you in your ego state. So they get you all emotional, and you get you really hooked on them through your emotional field. That's how that trauma bond forms. They get you to feel like they're perfect in their first impressions, and that you can't live without them. So you start to get anxious that you might lose them, and then you start to chase. This is where they get more fuel at the end than in the beginning, or in the middle even. They get a ton of fuel when you chase them, because you're always thinking about them, yearning for them, trying to win them back, trying to show them, trying to do anything they want while they're breadcrumbing you and seeing somebody else. Triangulation forms, jealousy, anxiety, and the chase begins. Your interest level goes through the roof at this point because you really want to be with them, and you're losing them, and you don't even know why. You want them so much, and then they give you indifference. They get to a place to where they start to ignore you, and they do this even in the relationship. They take forever to text you back, where in the beginning they were texting you all the time. They may not answer phone calls for a long time. They may not call you back for a long time. They may not answer phone calls. They say they want you, but they act like you're annoying them, really. And this is all to devalue you. And you have become sprung, and that's what they try to do. This supplies them, validates them, and regulates them. When they have control over you, it regulates them. It validates them. But when you don't chase, and you don't chase them, you behave the way they predicted you would. When you don't chase or act in a way that everybody else did, the way they predict you will potentially be, then they question that. A lot of times in cycle 1, they will test you of that. And then if you're not interested enough, that's what they'll do, check your interest in them. If you don't have enough, they'll have to come back and continue to love bomb you and then get you hooked even further into this, deeper into this. Because they have to win, and they have to be in control, and they have to have you all about them, thinking on them. So, but if you've been through several cycles and then they leave, you don't give them anything. You go no contact, or you just don't care. You give them indifference, and you kind of treat them like they treated you. They don't mean anything to you. They're not a big deal. This makes them ask why, and they start ruminating on you and thinking about you and investing a lot of time thinking about you, because this is not something that's normal. It never happens. What are you doing? You know, all these things that you would think about them while they're not around. Who are you seeing? Because if you're not with them, you got to be seeing somebody better. So who is it? And how much greater is he or she than you? And these are things that run through their mind, although you're probably single. You know, you should be. It's a good idea to be. You don't want to jump into another relationship. But what they think is what they're doing is what other people are probably doing. Well, they jump from relationship to relationship, so they're thinking, who are you with? They get everyone doing this, and they juggle supply sources and have them all chasing them while they're devaluing everybody and using everybody. When a supply source leaves and says nothing, heals and grows their wealth and starts to focus on self-help. Well, self-help brings good looks, because you start to focus on yourself, your looks, and who you are and what you look like, and investing in yourself and healing from the inside out. But eventually this glow and this energy is going to protrude out. You're going to also focus on, spending more time loving yourself, maybe getting massages and working out and things that are bettering you, even physically and in the looks department, because it should be everything. Mind your body, your spirit, your wealth, your health, and your relationships. So when you focus on all these parts and healing is a wonderful thing. And when you know where you came from, you know where you're going. And a lot of times for us as children, we didn't know why things were the way they are or were. And, in your family life. But once you understand that, and you can heal from those things maybe you didn't even know about, it betters you. And you become a victor. And you get off from this. But the narcissist never can. They start to stalk you because now they're competing with you in private. So the only thing they do is they're also very greedy and hoarding of people. In fact, hoarding is always related to narcissism because they're selfish and greedy. That's another dysfunction about them. But in the case of the narcissist, a lot of times they're hoarding people. And they're so cheap, they're always trying to get things out from people. The things they used to get from you, they can't get it anymore. They want you dependent on them. And how can they get you hooked is the main thing when they come into a relationship. Just like a fisherman hooks a fish, they have to put a certain type of bait on there. They got to bait you. They get you hooked, then they disconnect from you. And they want you to feel like you have too much to lose for them to leave your life, because they're everything to you. They want to be at the center of your life all the time, whether they're there or gone, ruminating on them, thinking on them, obeying them, and giving them everything and all your power and control. They weaken and confuse you and get you to question your judgment. They isolate you, and they want you to not be able to find your way out of this situation. You spend all your time chasing and holding on to them. Meanwhile, They're out with other supply sources, using and doing the same thing to you that they do to others, triangulating all against each other and multiple relationships all at once. And in their grandiose self say that they're the best thing in your life and you should feel lucky. The narcissist feels like all they need to do is show up, and you need to do all the work. You need to provide all of the funds, and you need to love them and pamper them, take care of them, and give them no boundaries on their end to do whatever they want, free reign. But for you, they're going to have 100 manipulations going. They're going to be cheating and lying and having different forms of supply relationships and flings going all at the same time. Meanwhile, you're in some sort of prison with all these rules that are attached to you and all these negative things that they keep telling you as they project their negative attributes onto you and take your good energy, your good fuel, that excellent fuel, and use it for themselves to devise more evil, to seduce more people. And this all makes you very sensitive, and you want to get them back. So, you know, when they ask you to jump, you ask how high, and you're probably already in the air already. But when you leave and stay away and go no contact, it gives them, over time, it gives them a form of regret, because what happens, they may not in the beginning, but in the interim, but in the near future and in their future, as they go down the road, they're going to want you back, period. And when they can't get you back, when you're not there anymore, that really hurts. It hurts anybody, y'all. When you refuse them, and you had a specific fingerprint, you had a specific DNA that you brought with you. You had gifts and talents and traits that they loved about you that they just can't get. And it doesn't matter who else is there. They want yours. And the things that you do and the ways that you move, they look at these in like they micromanage. If they're in business, they micromanage everything. They're the worst managers because micromanagers are the worst. So if you think about it in a relationship, they're micromanaging the relationship. But when a micromanager can see everything, and they want to control everything, but from another side of that, they see everything good about you. And so they miss a lot. They just use all what they see and they devise evil with it. So if you can give me a like, subscription, and thumbs up, I love y'all. Live your life. Till next time, soldier up. Peace be out.